Welcome to The Explainer! Today, we're untangling an incredibly dense, absolutely pivotal installment of the story. If you've been following this massive web of factions, deadly poisons, and brilliant masterminds, you already know things are reaching a complete boiling point. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the grand chess game being played in the shadows, revealing the hidden motives and shocking survivals that changed literally everything we know about these characters. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap of the betrayals and plot twists we're about to expose. We'll start with the 13 Mansions trap, move on to the Immortal Flex, uncover the tragic misunderstanding, reveal the poisonous truth, and finally, enter the Sword King. Section 1. The 13 Mansions trap, a deadly illusion. So we're starting right in the thick of an immediate surface-level crisis. The traitor, Zhang Qingyu, actually thought he had the upper hand here, luring our heroes into a thick, mist-filled array in the mysterious 13 Mansions to seize the throne. But Tang Lici is always a step ahead, isn't he? He instantly saw through the fake Feng Chuanshang, an imposter named Hualu Yan, and this brilliantly illustrates how Tang Lici operates. He exposed the disguise using a wonderfully simple poetry test about reed flowers and moonlight that the imposter just completely fumbled. Tang Lici already knew the grim truth. The real Feng Chuanshang had died 6 months prior, tragically killed by hallucinating Zhang Cheng. This deduction builds into an absolutely savage escape plan. While the imposter and the assassin were busy rigging the tower with explosives, Tang Lici was flawlessly running his own 3-step 4D chess counter-operation. Step 1. Pretend to be fooled to let the imposter act as bait. Step 2. Literally tank a fatal sword strike to the chest, which don't worry, we're going to break down in just a second. And Step 3. Evacuate the burning, exploding tower by summoning a flock of giant geese. Yeah, you heard me right, giant geese. Tang Lici had coordinated this massive aerial rescue well in advance.
Section 2. The Immortal Flex. A shocking survival that redefines the power dynamics of the Jianghu.
Right in the middle of the chaos from that trap, the imposter Huo Yan reveals his terrifying true nature. He splits his shadow into 2 bodies, revealing his deadly alternate form, Cao Wufang. And Cao Wufang lands a lightning-fast strike right into Tang Lici's chest. He operates with absolute certainty here, declaring, "A sword through the heart, a fatal one." He firmly believes he has just ended the life of the greatest threat in the martial world.
Now, what's really interesting about this is Tang Lici has an ultimate trump card. It's called the Immortal Body. This is a profoundly rare physical constitution that allows for immediate cellular healing, even after a direct stab to the heart. So he doesn't just survive this impossible wound. He casually pulls the blade out and coldly dismisses the terrified assassin. He lets him live just to carry a chilling message back to his master Li Yan, essentially demanding that if Li Yan wants to settle their grudges, he needs to step out of the shadows and face him personally.
Which naturally brings up the absolute burning question driving this entire narrative. Why does Liu Yan hate Tang Lici so much? I mean, why orchestrate these incredibly elaborate, deadly schemes across the entire martial world just to kill this one guy? Well, to understand this, we have to peel back the deepest layer of the story's onion structure.
Section 3. The Tragic Misunderstanding. A Fractured Brotherhood. To really grasp this hatred, we've got to rewind to a core historical truth. Let's walk through this fateful night chronologically. First, the respected senior brother Feng Zhou takes in a feral, amnesiac Tang Lici, showing him kindness when everyone else literally saw a monster. Second, a terrible accident occurs and Feng Zhou dies. Third, a blood-soaked Tang Lici frantically extracts Feng Zhou's heart. And fourth, the absolute worst timing possible, the deeply envious Liu Yan walks into the courtyard and witnesses this horrific, bloody scene. Liu Yan's mind immediately jumps to the worst conclusion. He fully believes Tang Lici violently murdered their beloved senior brother to steal his power. This single, monumental error is what caused Liu Yan to completely fall into darkness and create the sinister Fangliu Dian Shadow Organization.
But wait, what actually happened during that second step? Well, it all revolves around Wang Shengpu. This is a terrifying, forbidden, otherworldly martial art technique. Feng Zhou was attempting to cultivate this highly dangerous method to cure an old illness, but the process was violently interrupted, leading to a fatal cultivation backlash. So Feng Zhao's death was just a tragic accident. Tang Lici only extracted the heart crystal, in a desperate bid to keep it nourished within his own immortal body, basically waiting for a miraculous chance to resurrect the very man who saved him.
Now you'd think Tang Lici would just sit down and explain all this to clear his name, right? Nope. Actually, he has this cold-blooded acceptance of his dark reputation. He tells his followers, "I'm a monster. I won't stop being one just because someone says I'm not." It so perfectly showcases his elegant, yet utterly ruthless personality. He refuses to beg for understanding, perfectly willing to let the world hate him while he treats everyone, friends and foes alike, as mere pawns on his chessboard.
Section 4. The Poisonous Truth. Biological Warfare.
So, transitioning back to the present timeline, the crucial point is how Lu Yan is actively framing Tang Lici. He's tearing the righteous factions apart from the inside out using biological warfare. The linchpin of this plan is a specific substance, the Scarlet Ghost 9 Hearts pill. This is a highly engineered, deadly poison that severely corrupts the user with this thick black energy. And even more terrifyingly, it amplifies their darkest greed and drives them into a violent, hallucinatory madness. This is the exact poison that we now know drove Zheng Cheng to unknowingly kill his best friend 6 months ago. And now, Lu Yan has just unleashed it upon the entire martial world.
The scale of this devastation is just immense. A mysterious man in red, who was specifically sent by Lu Yan to frame Tang Lici, by the way, completely massacres the Ranqing sect. The few survivors are forcefully fed massive quantities of this deadly pill. We actually see the terrifying results erupt in a crowded marketplace, where a survivor, totally overwhelmed by the poison, begins to violently explode with corrosive black energy. Thankfully, the righteous, heavy-energy monk Puzhu steps in, throwing up a massive magical barrier just in time to save the innocent civilians from the deadly outburst.
Section 5. Enter the Sword King, a massive threat.
Right when our heroes think they finally have a moment to breathe and secure their traitorous prisoner, Zhang Qingyu, a massive new threat crashes the party to shatter the peace. The Sword King arrives with immense grandiosity, demanding custody of the traitor from the fierce young warrior, Zhang Chunji. And he doesn't just ask nicely, he commands terrifying fire eagles and expects absolute obedience from everyone in the Central Plains Sword Society. The tension here is absolutely palpable. He fully expects everyone to just bow down to his sheer, overwhelming strength.
But the Sword King didn't account for Tang Lici's high-energy, hot-tempered bodyguard, Qi Yun. Qi Yun literally stands his ground fearlessly against this overwhelming force, arrogantly declaring, "I'll stand right here and take one strike from you, and you still won't harm me in the slightest." Why make such a blindly loyal, completely reckless bet? Because Qi Yun knows, for sure, that Tang Lici is always watching. And right on cue, Tang Lici effortlessly intervenes from the shadows, deflecting the lethal fire eagles and validating Qi Yun's absolute trust.
So, what does this all mean? It leaves us with this incredibly provocative final question. If Tang Lici truly treats everyone, even his most loyal friends, as mere pawns in his intricate psychological warfare, what will his final move against the Sword King reveal? Is this escalating confrontation exactly what Tang Lici planned all along to draw the true mastermind, Lu Yan, out of the shadows? That's what you should take away from this intricate web of deception, and I absolutely cannot wait to explore what happens when these titans finally clash.